Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our curriculum, sort of the requirements of the major, some of our changes that may affect those of you that are juniors, those of you, one, that are juniors, and those of you that are thinking about chemistry as a major, and then also the professional development program, which would affect everybody, juniors and seniors. So let's start with we now have a mole mascot. So the mole mascot will be showing up at major events. I know, you're like, you lost your mind, Dr. Nichols. Yes, yes, I did. That's not me there, though, because it won't fit me. You'll have to find out who that is later on in the mole costume. So, and there is on Instagram as well as Facebook a Name the Mole contest. We are soliciting names for the mole. So we have a little bit of fun, not too much. So in terms of there is 1 degree in chemistry, and so it's a BS, and there's 3 ways to accomplish that. And so, there are handouts. So the first way is to combine your chemistry with another minor, major, and that's what's called the BS degree. Everybody gets a BS in chemistry, and so there's, for each of the 3 ways to accomplish the degree, there's a core set of classes that's taken by everybody. On the left, general or chemical principles, organic, analytical, physical chemistry and physical chemistry lab, and then chemistry seminar. So that's the core set that's required for everybody. The support courses that are required for everybody are Calculus 1 and 2, and then General Physics, or Physics 135, 136, the Physics 1, Physics 2, the calculus-based physics. So then everybody has to take 3 upper division electives, 3 upper division lecture electives. And those can be taken from instrumental analysis. Well, for the BS in chemistry, you are required to take instrumental analysis as one of your 3 electives. And then after that, you have physical chemistry 2, which counts as an upper division elective, general biochemistry, or the biochemistry 1, biochemistry 2 sequence. You can take biochemistry 3, inorganic, special topics classes that are offered from time to time. This semester was chemical engineering with Dr. Setter. I do not know whether it will be in the fall, but when the schedule comes out in early spring, there'll be a special topics class. And then 3 credits of undergraduate research will count as upper division elective. And then there's a course that it's going to run for the first time in the spring called Literature Research in Chemistry. So your additional 2 upper division electives have to come from that set. Then there's optional labs that you can take with those. Chem 2 lab, Biochem lab, or an organic chem lab. Those are not required, but they're there that you can take them with the lecture course or after you've taken the lecture course. So that's for the BS in chemistry, and people will combine the BS chemistry track with you can do this with biology, you could do this with sociology and criminology. This has enough room in the schedule so that you could put either a second major or a minor easily in this. Then the BS chemistry with what's called a biochemistry concentration. So there's additional courses that are required for the biochemistry concentration. This is the way that it currently looks. So if you've not declared yet, this is the set of requirements. I'll go through what the requirements are for those that declare in spring of 2019 on the next slide. Again, core classes that everybody takes. Support classes that everybody takes. Then you have to take additional biology support classes, so Bio 1, Bio 2, and the labs. Additional biochemistry courses, so you're going to take Biochem 1, Biochem 2, and Biochem Lab. So that's the additional coursework that gives you the concentration in biochemistry. And there's no biochemistry degree per se. I know people call it that, but it's not. And the reason for that, and why I tell parents and students that ours is better than a normal biochemistry degree, is because you take the breadth of the chemistry classes, and that gives you more flexibility. Because our biochemistry majors work at Sherwin-Williams, they go to all the pre-health programs, or they go on to graduate school. And so you can do any of those things with a biochemistry degree because you are a chemist and have taken all those chemistry classes. So that's the additional classes, then 3 upper division chemistry electives. And at least one of them right now has to be chemistry. So your choices are PChem 2, Biochem 3, instrumental analysis, and all of you are new core people. So you have to take a capstone, oral presentation, additional writing class or classes within the major. So all these classes in red are our capstone, OP and AW classes. So instrumental analysis, you can take inorganic, special topics, undergraduate research, 3 credits, and then the literature research is a capstone course as well. So you have to take at least one of those, and one has to be one of the red capstone courses. Then you have the choice of substituting two chemistry upper division electives with a biology class, for those of you that have already declared. So the current list includes genetics on down to psychopharmacology. And they're listed in the bulletin as we speak. And then you have the optional lab courses as well. So this is the BS plus additional coursework to give you the biochemistry concentration. So for those of you that have already declared, this is appropriate for you. For those of you that haven't declared, we've made a change. And so what's changed? Well, same core classes, same support classes, same biology support, same additional biochemistry classes, but now we're requiring 2 chemistry electives. And you can substitute 1 biology for an upper division chemistry elective. So same chemistry courses that you could take before. Again, one of those is going to have to be a capstone. And then for the biology classes that you can substitute for 1 chemistry class, we've narrowed the list down a little bit, including cell biology, developmental biology, microbiology, on down the line. Now, genetics is not there. And the reason genetics is not there is because it's a 200 level class. And our intent was that this would be a 400, a 300 or 400 level class. Also, our criteria for including these biology classes is that they involve a significant amount of chemistry or biochemistry. And Dr. Bruce, Dr. Moscati, Dr. Dow all talked to every biology professor that taught those classes. And so the ones that are currently don't have a lot of biology or don't have a lot of chemistry in them, we're allowing those to substitute for chemistry classes. So that's why we made that decision. And then you still have the optional. Now, if you're going to double major in CMB and chemistry, you can take the molecular genetics and molecular methods. You can take those, and those will count as one chemistry upper divisional elective. So you can you can have two chemistry upper divisional electives if you register, or if you declare next semester if you're a CMB major. So that'll make the CMB chemistry double major a little bit easier. Okay, so that's the one thing that we've changed. And then for chemical physics concentration, again, same core, same support courses are now Physics 135. The Physics 135 class is now substituted for the 125. There is a way we could substitute 125, but then you have to take the additional required support courses. So math 223 or 233 is calculus 3, and then modern physics and mathematical methods of physics and engineering, which is differential equations. And so those are additional physics and math classes that are required for the chemical physics concentration. And then additional, you don't have a lot of electives. You have electives, but you also have a lot of required classes. So additional required chemistry courses include, you have to take physical chemistry 2, you have to take physical chemistry lab 2, you have to take general biochemistry, or you could take the year-long biochemistry, instrumental analysis, and inorganic lab. And there's a reason for that I'll get to, because this track of the major is automatically certified to the ACS. So it has to meet a number of other requirements. Then 3 upper division electives taken from special topics, undergraduate research, and the literature class.
Do you still offer?
I'm going to get to that. Because that would affect juniors. And it may affect you. It may affect seniors. We'll have to talk about that. Okay. So there's not a lot of room in this, but this is, and to be honest, I think you're only a couple classes away from a physics double major, or at least a physics minor in this. So, but this one's automatically approved. So we are a department that is approved by the American Chemical Society. And what does that mean? You could go to the website and say, well, I obtained a bachelor's degree certified. What it means is that you've taken a breadth of classes, including all 5 of the foundational areas. That's analytical, organic, physical, inorganic, and biochemistry. And then you've taken some in-depth classes, and you have to have 400 hours of lab courses or research in order to obtain the certified degree. And over here is the check sheet that kind of keeps track of what you have to take. You also have to take calculus 1 and 2 in order to get the ACS certified degree. So it depends on the sequence. So if you take analytical a biochem class, inorganic, organic, and physical, you've passed the first column. And then down here, Calc 1 and Calc 2 in physics. Then in the second column, you have to take 4 in-depth classes. And the difference there is it doesn't have to be based on an area. So if you've taken instrumental, biochem 2, organic 2, pchem 2, a special topics class, or $3.99, 3 credits at $3.99. Any 4 of those, and you've cleared column 2. Then we go to column 3, which is lab courses, and you have to have a lab course in 4 of the 5 sub-disciplines. So then you have to have analytical or instrumental. Biochem, inorganic, organic, P-chem, and I think we count a credit of $3.99. And then you have to have 400 hours of research, or 400 hours of lab courses. Those are all listed in terms of total hours. Only 188 come from research. So if you're a current senior and you're thinking that you've met those criteria, number one, you haven't met them until you've taken inorganic next semester. And then the lab hours, somebody ended up last year literally, I think, like 10 hours short, 10 lab hours short of having a certified degree. So you just want to work with your advisor. But right now, if you're not going to take inorganic, you're not going to. So you've already made that decision one way or another. Okay. So this can be done from any of the 3 tracks. If you do it from chemical physics, you're automatically certified. But people recently have done biochemistry, they've done the BS. And they've gotten certified degrees. You get a certificate from ACS, but more importantly, it just shows you've taken a breadth of classes and the breadth of chemistry, which can help you in your later career, whether it's working in industry or in graduate school, et cetera.
If we're doing the ACS certification, do we need to fill out any paperwork with you?
No. So what happens is if you at the end. Every summer, the chair has to fill out a report to ACS, and then we have to put down all the graduates, all the people that have graduated with degrees, and then the ones that are certified, we put a check mark behind there, and they become certified. So I have to verify that you've fulfilled all those requirements.
Undergrad research is 3 credit hours, so under the requirements for the ACS, we receive the 184 because of 3 credit hour.
So you can take more than 3 credits of research, but if you take 3 credits of research, you'll be writing a full report or manuscript on your research, as well as probably giving a presentation. So at that point, it can count as an upper division elective. It can fulfill the lab hours,
right,
as well as also then counting towards a capstone if you give a presentation and turn in a written report.
and because it's the 3 credit hours, it wouldn't be the 54, it would be what it is.
3 times 54. And to be honest, I think that if you have like a summer internship or summer research experience where you can, you get 180 hours in the first 3 weeks, that you can maximize your research hours just in a summer experience. I don't think, I'll have to double check that, but I don't think ACS makes a distinction between summer research and research during the year. But only 180 of the 400 hours can come from research. So it's just something to think about. Those of you that haven't declared, when you declare next semester, after having completed Organic 1, you can declare early in the semester, and then you and your advisor can sit down and kind of think about, well, if I want to do this, what should my plan be? And I'm working through the study plans right now to put online that would give you a general idea as to what the 4-year would look like for, I think there's like 20 different plans with all of the 3+4 programs and I want to do biochemistry with ACS certification and all of that. But this gives you a more flexible idea of what it would take to be to get a certified degree. So here's the things that we need to consider. You have to complete the integrated core requirements of the major, which is a capstone. The capstone is additional capstone plus additional writing plus oral presentation. We have 3 of those in the major. Instrumental analysis, lab, but unfortunately instrumental analysis lab means the lecture has to go with it, so you can't do one without the other. Then chemistry 399D. So what's chemistry 399D? Well, once you've accumulated 2 or 3 hours of research, if you've only accumulated 2, you would take your 3rd credit of research at the same time you're taking the CH399D class. And then you would submit your report and give a presentation on your research. And that'll fulfill, so the way we have to do the bookkeeping is CH399D is the way that we do that. So it can be taken concurrently with CH399A in your last semester of your senior year. It's 0 credits, yes, because it's just a way for us to track the capstone. So
399
it's still 1, yes. So 399A is 1, 399B is 2, 399C is 3. And each one of those credit hours represents 4 hours, minimum 4 hours a week in lab.
Does 4 hours include preparing for your capstone? Or is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, you and your advisor work all that out, right? In terms of what your in-lab experience is, how much you're preparing, how much you're data analyzing, all of that.
Could I get credit for my summer?
So you can get, yes, you can get credit for your summer internship as long as it was research-based. In chemistry, we allow for the clinic programs to count for 1 credit of undergraduate research. The registrar and I are working, or will be working, on a way to do that legitimately. Simply because we can hold credits in escrow. So if somebody does research over the summertime, they could get credit in the fall, so you don't have to pay for it. But the registrar's not happy about that because that's called transcript. It's another word for fraud, because they want you to be getting credit at the same time you're doing it. But we can work something out. In the future, people may sign up for a 0 credit class, which means they won't pay anything at the end of the summer, so that way they can get credit for their research. But we can do that. You just have to talk to me.
Right.
Then I have to talk to your boss, and there should be something written on that, something you wrote up, or a poster or something like that. So we can do that for the summer. So the other one is the 398 literature class. So that's going to be a class where you learn how to search the chemical literature. It's going to be basically a research without the research. It's going to be like a literature research class as opposed to an experimental research class. But you can still do both. And so that's going to be offered each spring. And so that's a 3 credit class. It'll meet 2 days a week. One of those will be concurrent with seminar. So I'll talk about that. So those of you that are, yeah.
What exactly is the directive of the 398?
So what you're gonna, it's a capstone class. So capstone brings everything together that you've hopefully learned in all your chemistry classes. So it's going to be, you'll have a topic, and then you'll do literature searching on that topic, or you may have more than one topic. So you're kind of writing a review paper or giving a presentation as a review of a particular chemistry topic. So you'll search the literature for that, you'll summarize, and then you'll write a paper as well as give a presentation on a topic. Usually, most departments consider a seminar, that's how they think of it, is that students have to look up a topic, go through the primary literature, and that's what you're going to learn in that class. And then the results are going to be that the topics you learn are going to be very multidisciplinary, so that's the capstone part. Then you'll give a presentation on it, oral presentation part, and then you'll be writing either drafts of papers or putting together parts of the paper so that you have one at the end. That is the additional writing requirement in the core. So that's how that one accomplishes it. Research, again, capstone because it's multidisciplinary. You're giving a presentation, you're writing the report. You only need one capstone course. But if you take 2 capstone courses, you still have to fulfill all the requirements. So that's one that can be used. And then instrumental analysis lab is the capstone because there you are writing individual reports during the semester. It is putting together a lot of things that people have learned, and there is an oral presentation part. So those are the 3 capstone courses that we have approved. Then, so junior students will need to make sure that they sign up for Chemistry 478 this spring, which is chemistry seminar. Okay. You're required to take 1 semester of seminar. Now, that seminar class, we're going to bring in outside speakers because it runs at the same time as the chemical literature class. The students that will be presenting their results of their chemistry literature class, that you'll listen to those. There could be a reflection paper, a reflection page for each one of the seminars. We've gotten into the habit of doing that, but it's basically attending, listening, and then reflecting on the seminar. And since it runs at the same time, it's one of the 2 days of the literature class. You can't take seminar and the literature class at the same time. Which gets me to seniors, because if you've taken 0 seminar classes right now, then I have to figure out a way for you to get credit for both the seminar and you're enrolled in the chemical literature class. If you're a senior and you need seminar and the chemical literature class, I'm working on a solution to that. If you've only taken 1 semester of seminar, you're done. If you have taken 2 semesters of seminar, then you have learned more than necessary. And if you have taken 0 seminar, but you're not in the chemical literature class, you'll have to take seminar that spring. Yes.
Oh, sorry. So because I'm in the old course, does that still apply for
If you're an old core person, I'll have to look. If you're an old core person, we have a choice, I think. Because the old core and the new core, we changed the requirements to fit the capstone requirement, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not really tied to core.
Okay.
So I'll have to review your stuff and see. Okay. When I review it. So if you want to make an appointment, come in, we can go over it. And then you can, then you'll know right after that. I'll see. So if you're a junior, make sure that you've signed up. Or if you're a junior and you know you're not going to take the chemical literature class, then you could wait until next year and take seminar. Oh, and notice it's not chemistry 478. It's just 478, not 478A or B. So I'm working with the registrar's office on all of that. There is a difference between 478A and 478. Those of you that are hopefully going to declare as chemistry majors, you'll just plan on taking seminar in your junior year, spring semester of your junior year, or spring semester whenever prior to graduation. And then we'll offer 495 special topics courses. These may include, no guarantees on this, they may include maybe medicinal chemistry that Dr. Dowd has taught in the past. I've tried to get somebody to come in and teach toxicology. I'm going to try again. It's chemical engineering this semester with Dr. Setter. It could be materials chemistry with Dr. Challen. So there's a variety of those classes that can be offered, but I will most likely offer those in the fall.
You can offer them in the spring. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter now.
But
I
the
feel like spring semester is a better fit for
Yeah.
how I would have taken it.
Yeah, and if I wasn't recording this, I'd give you the real answer. Why our focus is on the fall. We are encouraging as many students as possible to take PChem 2 lecture, which counts as an upper division elective. And that's because there's a certain number of students that have to sign up for these classes in order for them to go. But as an ACS certified department, I have to offer PChem 2 every other year minimum, or else we're not certified anymore, or we're not approved anymore. So if I offer too many special topics courses in the spring, they're going to compete against, and there's already Biochem 3 there, and so they're going to compete against that, and it's going to become difficult. So usually the fall is when we'll offer special topics. I'm not against it, I just, right now, that's where I'm slotting in the special topics classes. And there's some other things that'll come about that you'll have an opportunity to take. So here's the listing of when courses are offered past organic. So analytical in the spring, physical chemistry 1 in the fall, physical chemistry 2 in the spring. And the other change in the program is that we now have one unified physical chemistry class that you take. Before there were 2 flavors of physical chemistry 1, now there's just one. And so anybody who takes physical chemistry 1 can take physical chemistry 2. The literature class will be offered in the spring. The general biochemistry classes are offered in both fall and spring. Biochemistry 1 fall, biochemistry 2 spring. Biochemistry labs offered both semesters. And you do not have to take biochemistry lecture and lab at the same time. And you do not have to take physical chemistry lecture and lab at the same time. So you can take the lecture first, then the lab in a following semester. Biochemistry 3 will be offered in the spring. Instrumental analysis will be offered in the fall. The chemistry seminar will only be offered in the spring. That's targeting your junior year. And then inorganic chemistry will be offered in the spring every other year. And special topics I'm going to target for the fall. So as you're planning out your 4-year plan or 2-year plan with your chemistry advisor, then you can take all of that into consideration, David.
And the inorganic and physical lab to alternating years?
Yes. So physical chemistry 2 lab is offered every other year as well. So it's usually alternating. Although if we had enough students that were interested in physical chemistry 2 lab, we could offer it every year. But usually it's every other year. And that's required it's actually not required. It's required for the chemical physics. It's not required for certification if you have enough of the different lab courses.
For the off years, which one is being offered? Like which one is
So
offered this year?
inorganics being offered this spring,
Okay.
and then PChem 2 lab will be offered next spring. So PChem is kind of morphing into a pre-writing intensive course.
Wait, so does that mean I have to take a writing test?
If you take a PChem lab, it's counted as a writing intensive course for the old core. So you're okay.
How about if I'm on the new course?
Then it is not a writing intensive course because there are no writing intensive courses. There is an AW class in the major. So for new core, there is no writing intensive class. There is only a capstone, OP, and AW, additional writing. And so PChem, I believe, has been grandfathered as an additional writing class, but the only way to get the other two is to take chemical literature or instrumental analysis in lab or research. If you're on old core, PChem lab counts as a writing intensive class. What are we petitioning? What? PChem lab? It still is.
Oh, it's still.
No, it still is. It's grandfathered into the old core. But
You
they've,
don't need
I-
an additional writing.
yeah.
Oh, you don't?
No,
You need the oral presentation additional writing.
right. And
Which is
capstone.
So it's all connected into.
So it's all in one
Yeah, I'll
class.
do that next semester.
Right, because if you try and do just they made a provisionary, they made PChem lab and all the writing intensive classes provisionary AW classes, but you need all three. And we don't offer a separate capstone or a separate OP class. So you're on what, new or old?
I mean, I'm on the new one.
Yeah, so writing intensive classes don't mean anything to you. If you're on the old core, then it does, and they carry their old core designations. So this is something to think. If this changes, we'll announce it and let people know. But this is our intent in terms of offering classes. So the last thing is the CAS Professional Development Program, which can affect everybody. So do you know that the Voller School has their professional development program that's their entire 4-year program? And it's got things like resume writing, cleaning up social media, so that there's not embarrassing stuff in there or unprofessional stuff that employers will look at. Interviewing skills, creating LinkedIn pages. In Bowler, they actually, I think, call your cell phone to see if you have a professional, voicemail, because that's what employers will call, and so they don't need to, hey dude, what's up? They don't. That's not professional. So that's a 4-year program. College of Arts and Sciences is a much stripped down version, but it still has the important elements. Now you might say, do I really need this? I would say yes, because you want a professional resume, you want a professional cover letter, you want to get as much interviewing skills as possible. You'd say, I don't care, I'm going to medical school. Well, interviewing skills are going to be important. Writing personal statements is going to be important. People still have LinkedIn pages. We had a speaker here last spring that talked about the job she got because of her LinkedIn page. Headhunters these are people that recruit for companies, would look out for people with certain experiences, find her in her LinkedIn page, and then offer her jobs. So the College of Arts and Sciences is adopting a smaller version of this. And anybody can do this now. You can do as much of this as you'd like. You can do as little of this as you'd like. So all chemistry majors are encouraged to complete this CAS professional development. Students can complete the requirements using the resources that are going to be available on a Canvas course for chemistry majors, and you can also attend workshops. So they're setting up right now the chemistry majors Canvas site that everybody will be enrolled in. And there'll be a site for people that aren't enrolled. So I'll show you the chart in a minute. But these are basically competency-based requirements. So the requirement for the resume is to have an approved resume. The requirement of having a LinkedIn page is to have an approved LinkedIn page. Go through an interview. Work on a workshop. There's some online stuff where you go through the online and answer some questions at the end, and that's the end point. So when you finish the requirements, then students receive credit on their transcript for CE 401, which is a 0 credit class. So that's on your transcript that'll show you that you've indeed accomplished that professional development course. And then some components may be required in chemistry courses. Like in my organic class, I've given them a quiz grade to have a resume approved by the end of the semester. If they read the syllabus closely, they would know that that's a requirement. And so in some cases, you may actually complete the requirement as part of a class. And then in chemistry, we have 5 required components and 2 optional ones. And if you're a senior, you might say, is there still time for me to complete the requirements? And the answer is yes, there is still time. So what are the requirements? Well, the last statement, it is not required for graduation. That would require a lot more paperwork, and it would also require a total approval within the university faculty structure, which the Bowler School didn't go through. They just mandated it. And so I don't think that's a good idea, but that's just my opinion. So here are your 5 required components. A career-related event, which we're going to have hopefully maybe this semester, but we'll definitely have one next semester. We're thinking of panel discussion where we bring in young alumni from the different career paths that chemists can take, like maybe some that work in industry, some that are in health professions, some that are in graduate school, and have a pizza career panel, where you can ask them questions, you can mingle with them, you can talk to them about, what their career paths look like. We may also this semester have some recruiters coming in from companies that are recruiting people. Interviewing, navigating LinkedIn, resume writing, cover letters. The boxes kind of show you what will be online and how you can complete that. So there's usually additional stuff other than attending a workshop to get those approved. There is what is the evaluation, that's what you have to include. And then there's like incentive, and that's where the class that this is required in would go. And then 2 electives. And there's tons of electives. Elevator pitches, interviewing for graduate professional school, personal statements. So career services will you can work on your personal statement with career services, and they'll have people reading it, giving you ideas, so that way you have the best personal statement you can have. So when you've completed the 5 required and the 2, then you get that on your transcript. You get the professional development. So if you're a senior, you can do as many or as few of these as you want. I'm going to suggest people that are juniors, you've got 3 semesters. So hopefully you'll be able to accomplish this. And those of you that haven't started yet, plan on it. Plan on doing it. And you can start now. You can start your freshman year to get a resume together. And the thing is, the reason why I wanted the resume for this semester in organic is because next semester is when you'll be applying for internships. And the first thing they want is a resume. So if you have one approved, you're ready to go. You just have to update it.
But it says like workshop video.
That's the different ways. So that means you could go to the workshop and complete it, or you could watch the video and do an evaluation, or you could make an appointment and go over there probably with your final product. They would get you some feedback. If you needed to bring it back, then it would be approved.
So it's not like you have to go to the workshop.
No, you don't have to do all three. These are the ways to accomplish the final product or the final goal. Okay, so that's the professional development program. I mean, we're one of the few universities that has taken this seriously. Obviously, the Bowler School went all out, but they're the Bowler School, and they had one person whose job it was just to interview people. She would interview people, and if they came in and they started their interview poorly, she'd tell them to go out in the hallway and come back in. She called their cell phones. She looked at their social media. And so that was just one person. We don't have one person whose job that is. So this is working with career services. And to take advantage of it. You know, again, if you're like, I want to do, pre-health. You need all these things for pre-health. And Dr. Lee, I think there's probably going to be a pre-health one as well. So you can complete that one, probably similar requirements. Their career event will be different. So that's kind of an overview of our program. It's not really, it's kind of the check-in thing that biology was doing, but it gave me a chance to put all this together so that we have handouts, and this stuff will go on the web as well. Yeah.
So when will we know if PChem 2 is going to run on this spring?
We will know that when I know that.
Do you think it'll be soon?
It's going to have to be.
Okay.
I
That'll be
know.
like $20 when we take it in.
It's going to cost a little more than that. When classes don't run, they can run as an independent study class, and the instructor technically doesn't get credit for those classes.
Okay.
And instructors are not shy about telling me that there's no way in a very hot place that will not happen. So that's why we want to get as many people to take PChem 2 as possible. And in a lot of places, PChem 2 is required. We're not requiring it. We have not talked about requiring it, but it is. I mean, it's good. It's an upper division elective, and it's a good thing to have. It's again, all this stuff is individually based. So I'll know because I just talked to Dr. Bruce at lunchtime. But if you know people that want to take it, they need to contact me ASAP. And then I can see what I can do. All right, thank you. If you have any questions, email me, come see me in class or lab. So hopefully that helps lay out what people need to do or what people need to think about before you declare.